Yeah, I made an opening statement prior to this in one of the press conferences. I'll make another opening statement tomorrow, so I'll keep it very brief. We've had a fabulous time here at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. We're very honored to represent the Mid-American Conference, Western Michigan University, and all of the Group of Five here at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl in Arlington, Texas. Everything has been incredible. The hospitality is second to none here at the Cotton Bowl, and everybody can tell you what it's really like, and it's the best bowl, and trust me, and bring an extra suitcase because of all the things you get. But when it actually happens, it is way better than it's even talked about. And it's a credit to everybody on staff here at the Cotton Bowl Committee. We're just very honored to be here. Our players have had a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and they've taken full advantage of that. They've balanced all the fun with all the work. And that's what we've done all year going through the year, so no different here in Dallas. We're very excited to be here, and with that, I'll open it for questions.
Okay, as a courtesy to the coach, would you please give your name and affiliation? Stephen, you put your hand up first, and we'll let you ask. This young lady's going to bring you a microphone right here.
Coach Stephen Hawkins with the AP. The story of Corey is well documented from the time that you first met him and he was working to get academically eligible. The fact that he could have gone out last year, as you reflect back to where you are now, to looking at him, how much pride do you take in what he's done, and for him, his future, how bright is his future, do you believe?
Well, I think the pride has to go into him. I don't think it necessarily me taking pride in that, because for him to, one, get eligible in high school took an army. Right? It really took a lot of people at his high school, Wheaton Warrenville South High School, with Ron Muhich and his counselor and his family members. But the progress he's made here is a tribute to him, first and foremost, because he's got to put the work in. He's the one that has to stay 30 to 40 minutes after practice. He's the one that has to continue to grow and get better. And then there's also a lot of risk involved. It says a lot about him and what he truly believes in and what he values. He values the experience. He values his teammates. He valued something bigger than just himself and the money and moving on to the National Football League. I remember when we sat down and talked about it, the biggest thing he talked about was, one, I want to be able to get a degree, or at least set myself up to get closer to getting that degree. And that was from Robin Graham and Dan Graham, his foster family. That was the biggest thing, and he was on board with that. But the biggest thing was, Coach, I think we're going to be really, really special next year. And I'm sitting here as a kid convincing the head football coach how good we're going to be. I should be convincing him. But he's convincing me how good we're going to be. And he said, I would really regret it if it's as good as I think it's going to be, and I'm watching it on TV instead of experiencing it. For a 22-year-old young man to be able to say that to you with all the millions of dollars staring him in the face says a lot about his character. And we wouldn't be where we are today without Corey Davis. It takes an entire football team to get where we are. But Corey Davis is a major part of this football program, not just on the field, but off the field. And we wouldn't be in this position without him, or the decision he made to come back. We invested a lot of time into him to get him to come back. And then, Daniel Braverman slipped out the back door on us. Maybe I invested, I saw one coming, but I didn't see the other one coming. But we're very proud of Daniel as well.
We've got a question on the front, and then we'll move over to the left side.
Hi, Al.
Hi, Coach. Alan Gerald, Rivals.com, Bronco Blitz. We've talked about in the past the fact that we really didn't have any buys per se this season, but now you've had like a 3-4 week buy, if you will.
Sure.
But you've talked about the kids practicing fast, playing fast, getting after it. Are you seeing any rust at all? Do you think that that's going to be an issue, or do you think that the team's going to be ready to go?
No, not at all. You're only allowed 15 practices, Al, if you truly maximize all the practices with the NCAA. So every team that's either in the playoffs or is in a New Year's Six Bowl has a tremendous amount of time off. How you balance that, I think, is very critical. We've had to reflect back to the national championship days when I was at Ohio State with Jim Tressel. We've had to reflect back to last year and the year prior. What did we like? What didn't we like? What worked? What didn't work? What days were sloppy? What days weren't sloppy? I would say the only time we ever had a little bit of rust was when we came back from our 4 to 5 day break for Christmas, and it was the first practice back. I think it was here, a little bit sluggish. It wasn't the work ethic, it wasn't the how, it wasn't even the execution. I think it was just a little bit of the stamina. You take 4 or 5 days off, and you haven't had 2 days off all year. It kind of does a little bit of damage to you. But other than that, we've had 2 back-to-back practices that have probably been the best we've had all year. And the players are very mature. It does not take long to knock that rust right out. But I wouldn't even consider it rust. I just consider it maybe just some gravel that built up as we went down the gravel road on the side under the tire. You know how that gets, you just knock that off. So, but other than that, that's about it. But I'm really proud of the progress they've made while they've been here in Dallas.
We had a question on the aisle on the left side about halfway back.
Jason Hutton, WXMI. Coach,
Hi, Jason.
a lot of coaches talk about wanting to recruit close to home, and you've got some key guys within about an hour radius of Kalamazoo. How important have the West Michigan guys been to your program?
Incredibly critical to our success. They really are. The one thing when we first took the job is that I learned this from Joe Novak. If you take a Midwest job, especially in the Mid-American Conference, PJ, do everything you can to keep the recruiting at home. We built a 6-hour radius right around Kalamazoo, and we're talking the states of Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan. We wanted to be really heavy in. We wanted to surround ourselves with that. Now, if you're going to do that, you got to be able to beat some Big Ten teams in recruiting, because eventually they come late and they poach a lot of your kids really late, offer them late. But we've been very fortunate. We've had about 80% of our recruiting done prior to the summer camps, or in the middle or towards the end of summer camp. And that's really been with our 6-hour radius. From there, we've stemmed outside. We've gone down to New Jersey, the Floridas, and we've kind of gone to different places that we've actually had a lot of familiarity with. But the Southwest Michigan kids have been absolutely critical. Michigan kids in general have been absolutely critical. I think some of the best high school football is played in the state of Michigan. They're very well coached, very well developed by our high school coaches throughout our state. And when you start to look at our roster, when we first got there, about 80% of our team was probably outside the state. And now it's 80% are probably inside the state. So we're very proud of our Michigan roots, and we'll continue to recruit that way.
We have a question on the front and middle.
Hi, Coach. Corey Olson from MLive.com and the Kalamazoo Gazette. Just wondering, if you think back to the movie Hoosiers and Gene Hackman, did you guys do anything when you came into AT&T to get the kids, used to that kind of thing? We talked to some players earlier this week, and they said, really the first practice in here was just trying to get used to looking up for the ball and seeing the screen and all those types of things. Do anything to get them acclimated early on?
Yeah, I don't know if we would use the movie Hoosiers, to be honest with you. If you've got to teach lifetime lessons in a cultural way here, with these kids in 16. I'm not sure if many of them know the movie Hoosiers if we did show it to them.
Team movie night.
That's amazing, right? But I would say the first thing we actually did was, when we first came here, it didn't have anything to do with practice. We came to watch Monday Night Football with the Cowboys and Lions. We brought him here specifically for that reason. They thought we were doing that for some fun. Right? There's always a little bit of coaching behind everything we do, right? There's always a life lesson. So we wanted to get that aha moment and that awe moment out right away, right when we got here, the day we got here. And to be able to see AT&T Stadium in Jerry's world empty versus full, I think there's two different things. And that's what we wanted them to see right away, to see the full stadium, what the game day environment's going to be come January 2nd. And I think we knocked that out of the park in day one. And then when they were on the field, then it was just some on-the-field adjustments with the screen. But you can't really see the screen that much from when you're actually playing. It's when you're on the sidelines, and maybe when you're backed up catching punts at the 10-yard line, you'll be able to see the screen and the ball flying through the air, plus the ball. But we've done everything we can to be able to simulate those types of catches throughout the week.
Got a question on the aisle towards the rear, and then we'll come back up here to the front. Just a moment.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Marvin Chambers, 4.0 Sports Media. Can
Marvin.
you tell me something about Corey, the development, a kid from New Jersey, landing on your campus from the freshman year to now as a senior?
Are you talking about Corey Davis?
Yes.
Yeah, he's from the Chicagoland area. And what I'll say about what Corey was, I think he came like a lot of these guys. They have failed so much that they've succeeded. And we embrace our failing here. We call failing growth. If you show me a person that's really successful, I'm going to show you somebody who failed a lot. And we take pride in that. We don't run from that. I think these players are very proud of their 1-11 season, to be honest with you, which might sound a little funny, but to them, they understood exactly where they are and what got them there. And Corey is no different. I think the development of Corey as a person inspires me more as a player. I think Matt Simon and Luke Getsy, who's now the wide receiver coach for the Packers, they both have done a tremendous job in developing him as a player. But Corey's one of those guys that's not, I can't say just easy to coach, but he's one of the easier ones because his work ethic's so high. He reminds me of Vincent Jackson when I coached with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You give it to him once, he might not be able to get it the first time, but he's going to stay 45, 50 minutes after practice to make sure by the next time he sees you, he has it. And that's a credit to him. And he hasn't always had that. When he got here as a freshman, he had to learn how to become a professional. Remember, Corey's been the guy, the dude, the bell cow from day one in this facility when he got on campus, which is very difficult for a true freshman to do. Then he goes and he's freshman player of the year for the conference his first year on a 1-11 football team. So it's very inspiring to watch his progress because he's always had to be the guy. And when you're the guy from your freshman year on, sometimes you get that attention early. You don't appreciate what you have as you continue to move. Or you start to think that, you have a right to something. Corey's never done that. And that's a credit to his upbringing, his foster family, and all the things he's been through in his life.
We had a question in the aisle on the left side.
Steve Helwick, SB Nation.
Hi, Steve.
This is the final game in college careers for Zach Terrell, Corey Davis, Taylor Moton, a lot of crucial players from that 2013 1-11 season. Is there any emotion in knowing this will be the final time you'll coach them in Broncos uniforms?
I'd be lying to you if I said no. Absolutely. It'll be very emotional. It really will be. As a coach, when you have such a personal relationship with your players, you do everything you can not to think about it, to be honest with you, until it's finally over, then you let the emotion go. But anytime you start thinking about losing those players, selfishly, you're going to miss them, right? So then you feel the absence of them, and you start to really get emotional. However, when you start to think about the legacy that they have left, it inspires you, because what they've done is they put a foundation, a standard, and an expectation, and put Western Michigan now on a map that this isn't just a one and done type deal. We've recruited at an extremely high level, and the people that are now coming through the program have been able to watch Corey Davis, Zach Terrell, Taylor Moton, and be able to learn from these guys. That now this is an expectation and what we really demand of ourselves every single year when we start the season, that a New Year's Six Bowl's out there, and that's the expectation now. And that's what I think they did at Boise, and that's what I think they've done at Houston, and we want to be the same type of place.
This will be the final question for Coach.
Wow, that's great.
I'm not going to answer too, Coach. We've talked a lot about Corey, but part of, obviously, a lot of your success has been based on the fact that you've been very balanced. And, with Jamari and Jarvion and Carrington and Michael Henry. Can you talk about, Corey's had a great deal of success and put up some incredible numbers, but I think a lot of his success has been due to the fact that so many of those other players have drawn a lot of attention. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, first and foremost, we have a lot of star players, I will say that. And nobody's going to ever apologize for having great players, especially individual players. But nobody could have the accolades that they have, or the yards they have, or the attention they have without everybody else. Our defense has played better than it's played in the last 4 years. When we talk about defense winning championships, our defense had 2 shutouts. Well, the last time we had a shutout, Al, was years and years, a decade ago or something at Western Michigan, let alone have 2 in a season. So you talk about all the individual performances, but our defense really put us in position to be successful on offense. You look at guys like Michael Henry and Carrington Thompson. Both of those guys have come the farthest, I would say, in terms of their development from freshman year to senior year. Michael Henry even had a 3 to 4 month hiatus, all right, from our football team. He had to leave the football program. It was the best for him. We were able to get him some help, and now he comes back and catches 60-some balls for us. In the absence of Daniel Braverman, when he caught 108 balls, and everybody's like, how are you going to replace him? Well, you're going to replace him with what everybody thinks is 2 immature players who became some of our most mature players. The culture will make you grow up really fast. And if you believe in the culture and you trust the culture, it'll develop you from a boy to a man. And I think that's what you've seen with our entire football team. We are more mature now than we've ever been in the last 4 years that I've been there. I know that. And maturity is when doing what you have to do becomes doing what you want to do. These players love coming to our facility. They can't wait to get there. Even though they have to do it, they can't wait to do it. And they all can't wait to do it together. And I think that's a credit to our coaching staff, a credit to our players, and really a credit to the culture at Western Michigan University in general. Can I make one statement?
Absolutely,
If you don't mind?
absolutely.
I do want to make one statement because it's out there and my face is all over the place on it, and I'm not really sure why. I do want to make one statement, though, referencing a statement that was made in the Mid-American Conference by one of the athletic directors about our Group of 5. I do want to say this. I absolutely love the way the Group of 5 and the Power 5 coincide and mix. Just because one AD makes a statement like that doesn't mean that the whole conference feels that way, because I don't feel that way at all. And one person speaking for the Group of Five or the Mid-American Conference is not how we feel whatsoever. I think the way it is perfect. If you're at the Group of Five, if you can go undefeated 2 years in a row, you deserve to be in a national championship, and you'll find your way into the national championship. Everybody was talking about Houston this year. Group of Five team goes 13-1 last year, beats Florida State. They beat a top 5 team to start the year. If they would have continued that and went 13-0 or 13-1, I guarantee they'd be in one of those top 4 spots. The great thing we talk to recruits about, and we talk to our players all the time at Western Michigan, yes, at Western Michigan, is you have the ability now with the playoff system to win and go to a national title. Is it harder in the Group of Five? You bet. It's a lot harder. But you know what? There's a chance for it to happen. In the old BCS system, we didn't even have a chance. So I am not, just so everybody understands, Western Michigan, and I am not, I don't speak for everybody else, but I know us, are not in favor of this Group of Five national championship. I think that's ridiculous. I love the way where we're at. I love the position we're in. And if we are going to feel that way about winning a national title one day, then we are in control of that. We're going to have to schedule non-conference opponents that are going to be ranked in the top 20 and play top 20 opponents. That's what we did last year with Ohio State, Michigan State. Because if we did happen to beat those 2 teams, a 1-4 team, then we deserve to be in the talk if we can run the table. I think that's very fair. But if they want a Group of Five team to play in the national title, it can happen, it should happen, but it's got to be set up the right way. If you don't play Power 5 teams and you don't play top 25 teams and you win out, you shouldn't be in the national title conversation, including us. But if we do it again next year, or you do it twice in a row as a Group of Five team, I think you deserve to be in the national title race. That's all I'll say about that. Just want to make that very clear because my face gets attached to somebody else's quotes from a different school within our league that I completely disagree with. So I just want to at least make my comment about that situation in case you were waiting to ask me that tomorrow. You at least have a statement on that now.